Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Jake, the host, as well as the founder of the original College Football Red Zone, in, as you see on Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch as well. And listen, man, you all guys already know that I saw the most recent news from Roger Goodell in terms of the express interest in making College Football Red Zone a reality. And I wanted to preface this by starting out by really making sure that it's known that I am genuinely thankful for the community that's already been built here around this college football red zone idea that we're trying to turn into a reality as we get closer to the college football season, because I've seen so many of you guys coming through and mentioning my name and tagging me, and just I just really wanted to come out here first and foremost that while I am really excited about this news that came out from Roger Goodell himself and his interests, just also making sure that I'm genuinely included in the conversation and mentioning me in that conversation when it comes to hosting a college football red zone or bringing this idea into reality as well. And as a result of that, obviously we had a bunch of new followers on YouTube, we had a bunch of new followers on Twitter, but regardless of what we have going on in terms of whether you've been around for the past few months ever since we have been getting college football red zone off the ground, or whether you only been a part of this community for the last few minutes, what I do want to say is whether it is me that ends up being the host of that mainstream college football red zone one day, or whether that does end up being somebody else that ends up handling that torch and hosting college football red zone, a Kevin Harlan type. What I do want to say is that I do want to make sure that college football red zone is built upon three pillars and also built based upon what we want to do here on college football red zone. So for me, in terms of how I approach this idea of college football red zone, I'm looking at it from three separate pillars. I'm looking at it from a a piece of authenticity, a piece of commitment, and a piece of transparency as well. So for me, from an authenticity piece, everything that you see in terms of my takes on the sport, regardless of what conference is being talked about, whether we're talking about college football from a national level, everything that comes out of my mouth, that is from a piece of authenticity. I'm not in the business of saying certain things just to be a troll and just to go out and be more of that quick baity territory, or going out and trying to carry some kind of agenda, either for or against a particular conference. Now, if it does end up bringing more attention because maybe I'm in the minority, that's absolutely fine. But what college football red zone needs to be, whether it is something that is done by me myself, or whether the main college football red zone, the mainstream version of it, is handled by some other entity, it needs to be coming from a place of authenticity, right? And that leads me to another couple of pillars that I want college football red zone to be, whether it's led by me or somebody else: commitment, right? We Everything that you see here, that is courtesy of a one person show, right? So everything that you see, whether it is a particular graphic, whether it is a particularly edited video, the scripting, the in-person presentation, we this is a one-man band here on College Football Red Zone. So I know that as we draw closer to August 30th, and we are drawing closer to the season starting and having our very first red zone stream that we are still projecting to make happen on August 30th, is that we want to get better every single day and we want to get better every single week. I understand that when we hit that go live button on the very first red zone stream on August 30th, we're not going to be perfect. We're going to make mistakes here or there, and we're not going to initially maybe not live up to that initial quality of NFL Red Zone that was the core inspiration for making college football red zone happen, right? We know that we aren't going to be perfect, but what I can say as the season does progress, as we get deeper into the fall, is we're going to try to get better every single time. Whether it is reading feedback from what you got from you guys, and or my personal feedback loop in terms of watching back certain parts of the stream, figuring out what can we do, what can I do to get better. That's what I'm all about, because we deserve something that every college football fan loves, regardless of whether you're someone that roots for a marquee brand or somebody that roots for somebody in the group of five. And speaking of the other part of that commitment that you can expect from me, is that you can expect a commitment in terms of telling the entire story of college football, not just talking about the marquee brands that are out there. Although we are going to maybe talk about some of those marquee brands, maybe a tad more when we do see some of those major matchups that happen over the course of the season. I mean, Ohio State, Texas, that is a massive game, and it's going to get its required attention for sure. No worries about it. But at the same time, even though maybe the group of five is not at the same level as the power conferences, that doesn't mean that there isn't quality football being played at the group of five as well. So we are committed to making sure that we are going out and we are covering the G5 and showing some love to those G5 conferences, more than just maybe talking about it a little bit in passing and then moving on to talking about some of the more marquee conferences in college football, which leads to really that last piece of that third pillar that I want college football red zone to be, whether it is me or whether it is somebody else that is ultimately carrying the torch at the end of the day, and that is transparency. I've talked about this a little bit already, is that we're a one person show here. Every edited video, every graphic, the in-person presentation, the live stream check-in, and the whole production, you're looking at the only person that is making college football red zone actively happening. Unlike some of the bigger studios that are out there, we don't have a separate research department. We don't have a separate editing and production department. It is all me, and it is all on my shoulders. So, we understand that when we go live August 30th, there are certain things that I would love to do that we can't make happen right away, such as, getting around some of the, like, the broadcasting, like the copyright laws, to make sure that we're in compliance with what YouTube would like to see, as well as, staying in compliance and making sure that, we're being in compliance with ESPN, Fox, CBS, etc. So while we won't be able to actually physically show the games, we can still have the game audio with a box score showed up on screen, and that is okay. And that's how we're able to get around this and make college football red zone possible. But we are going to work to try to make that physical game present being shown happen in the future, which leads me to, for those of you that maybe you are a little bit more of a major figure in sports right now, whether it is a Roger Goodell or whether it is a TV executive over at ESPN, CBS, Fox. This is a rare time in sports history where really the most influential members of sports behind the scenes, and what the majority of the college football public does want, are actually aligned in terms of making college football red zone happen. And many of the detractors, or maybe the more skeptical people for college football red zone, it's not because they think that it's a genuinely bad idea. It's more of that skepticism of, a certain companies coming through and running the product, right? Because we have seen attempts before with ESPN Goal Line, and maybe, yes, it didn't work out, but that doesn't mean that it's a bad idea. So this is my appeal to those of you that do have that major inspiration, that do have that major influence in sports right now, the Roger Goodells of the world, the major TV networks and the major TV network executives in the background that we don't really know, at least on a surface level. All I ask is for that express and written consent to take college football red zone right now to the next level, And because there is a want and desire to make this thing happen. I know that y'all may want to wait around a little bit and get your infrastructure in place. I will stand it up fully and try to make it up to the standard of NFL Red Zone on August 30th. I will make it happen in the 2025 season. All I ask is for that express and written consent, regardless of whatever TV network that you do represent, because I am not in the business, again, to carry the flag for a specific network or to carry the flag for a specific conference. I am not about favoritism over here. I am all about what is best for college football. And I know that I don't stand alone. So if you give me that express and written consent, I can take it up another notch to make it closer to what NFL Network is. And also at the end of the day, I know that I'm certainly not as experienced as maybe the top candidates that you are considering in terms of making college football red zone from a mainstream level of reality. But what I can say is that not only am I passionate about it in terms of making this dream a reality, I'm probably going to be cheaper than your top candidate too. Let's be real on that one. I just want to be the spearhead or at least be included in that conversation to make college football red zone happen, whether it's from me or whether it's from somebody else. I just want what's best for college football.